Alright, so tonight we're going to put this left front hub on this Terra Jet back together, and I'll show you what I have. I've had this apart for a while now, and some of you have been bugging me to finish it, so we're going to get back at it. I'm having problems with the right side because on the right side these bolt holes are stripped out and these bushings here are wore right out of it. So I have replacement bushings I have to make fit. I'm still going to have to work on finding something else to thread, retap it. It's wore out really bad. I don't think I can put a heating coil in it. Anyway, so we'll get into this in a minute. Alright, so to put this back together, I have already went ahead and put in 2 new bearings into the outside hub, left front hub. These are not greasable. There is no grease fitting on here. Those 2 holes right here are for the roll pin that holds this whole assembly together. So first things first, let's get this on a tripod and I'll show you what I'm doing. Alright, so I've already went ahead and put my outer bearings in. All the bearings on the front of this Terra Jet, there's 2 on the outside and 1 on the inside stub shaft or whatever you want to call that. And it's got a piece like this that goes in the inside of this. So let's get to the outside first. Now the bearings I'm using crossed up as that number right there, and I got them fairly cheap. I think they were $10 or $12 each. Now the U-joints for the knuckle that goes in there, the replacement ones, I had to buy a new yoke, and they are, I think they were $15 Canadian or $20 Canadian. Cost me $25 and I bought 4 of them all together. But the only problem with these replacement ones over the old ones, the split pin isn't lined up in the right hole, so you're going to have to drill it. I opted to use one of my old joint here, and hopefully it's not too beat up and it doesn't let me down. Because I didn't want to center that hole and try to drill it out. So anyway, there's a U-joint for the new, it's a Napa number. It's a new U-joint for the new yoke, and I bought 4 of them anyway. So this piece here, I'll start with this one first. Get this in the picture. This is the outside hub. This part does not need to be taken apart. So that just fits, I get this in the picture here. That just fits through like that. Okay, just like that. It should go down tightly. And now the only thing that holds this thing, your front wheel, from flying off is a 2" by 1/4 split spring pin, they call them. And there's the part number for that. Okay, so this here yoke has to go on next, inside of here, and then we're going to drive a spring pin I should say, through here into this hole right here. So we'll probably pre-start the pin into here. Okay, so I'm going to take this. I'm not exactly sure which one of these holes it goes into. Well, I can't go into that one because it's too free. So you can see where I repaired this joint, and it's probably going to fail me. So let's just try to make the best of it. Let's start this one here. I hope I can put this in this unit without having to start it through the hole, because I don't know how that's going to go. Pretty much right there. See how I started it? It's just not hanging through. So okay, so let's put this in here, and hopefully, and it's not going to work. I'm going to have to pull that back out. So okay, we have to start it through the hole. So cut. Okay, let's try this again. So we are looking for this hole here and that one. So we'll put that. Like I said, this is the only thing that's going to hold your axle in place. You need to line up that hole right here with this hole. There's a hole in the end of the shaft. I don't know if you can see it there. That hole's got to be lined up with this hole in the hub so you can start it. But first you got to put the yoke back in place. So it goes right there, and you may need to just persuade it a little bit or a lot. In my case, it's going to be a lot. Yeah, didn't go together too good. Alright, let's cut the scene for a second. I'll be right back. I'll get that in there. Okay, so they don't give you a whole lot of room to line that hole up, but trust me, it will line up. but to pound it in, they don't give you a lot of room. Alright, so here goes nothing. Let's try this again. And if you can take the grinder, you might be able to sharpen this a bit to make the install a little easier. And you get the right size punch, or maybe just start it with a bigger one to get down in the hole a little bit. That's the right one right there. Anyway, pound this flush with the yoke once you have it in there. This is all that holds your wheel on. Right. Almost there. Okay, once that yoke is in place, you want to pound a bearing into here. Best way to do it is use an old bearing to pound equally on the race. You do not want to puncture this seal. These are kind of watertight, and that could be important. Now, there is a grease fitting that goes in the bottom of this. In order to get this out of this hub right here, out of that hole right there, you got to take the grease fitting out. And then it'll slide right out of there. Well, it should anyway. So that's the next step. Let's pound this bearing in there. Now, I don't have, sitting in front of me for some reason, I don't have the other piece, and I seem to have lost my grease fitting just here. Now, I opted just to find a flat surface and smack the other side. Like so. Anyway, you get the idea till it's flat. Alright, do that till it's flush. And what the grease fitting is going to do in here, it will pump grease into the between this seal here and the bearing seal, and should make it a little bit more watertight. I didn't opt to get a new seal. It is hard, but it should have had it. But finding parts of these old Terra Jets is not easy. So next thing we're going to do is install this into this hub next. You can see there's 5 bolts down there. Now you want to make sure that grease fitting is lined up the hole down at the bottom, because you need to put that grease fitting back in for later use. And it's this one here, and I believe it is like a 7/16 head, but you need a quarter socket to put it in. Now there's probably little tricks to putting this in, but I'm just going to try to guess at it here. I'm just going to have to go down in there. Most of the times these outside of these hubs get damaged a bit. You could probably grind some of that and take care of it. So I'm going to try to drop it in there like this. It came out of there, so it should go back in. A little persuasion maybe. I use my axle. Drop, there it goes, drops right in. Okay, so you want to line that up with your bearing hole like that. Okay, now you're gonna put those 5 bolts in there, and it's kind of a pain in the ass because these ones go from the back side, so you can't just take this outer hub off without pulling the axle out. You have to pull the whole thing out of there. Okay, so let's line that up and get those tightened up next. Now you may have to use a screwdriver or a punch to line these up, because they seem to they get bent up pretty good. Okay, this isn't quite centered. I'm not sure if that's going to affect anything. It probably will, but anyway, let's reassemble those. Next is your axle, and here's mine. I cleaned her up. Tape the keyway on there because it will fall off. There's a little clip here. That's what prevents you from pulling the axle out the right side, or the right side. So that needs to stay there. So let's go through, and this will just butt up right here against. Oh, and it's dinner time. So that gets pounded on there somewhat. You might have to persuade it a bit. Okay, so let's get rid of this stuff out of my way. With that axle now installed, there is a top and bottom of that. The grease fitting's got to be on the bottom. We'll put that in a minute. Like I said, it's 7/16 quarter inch drive because it's kind of fits tight in there against the sleeve. So that goes to the bottom, and your tie rod bracket goes to the front. So you take this axle here, and it's a little tricky. You gotta line that up and start the spline on the splines. Might take me a little bit. You're gonna have to line that up before that'll go together. Okay, what I'm doing is turning this past that piece so I have a little bit of room to play, and I'm going to use the axle. Turn the axle. Try to line that up. It was working before I shut the camera off. There. See, I got that. Wiggle. It goes in. Kind of pull that back like this. Okay. And somebody's been monkeying with this, and we use an Allen key bolts. Should have Allen key bolts in here. This tightens up once this bolt's in. Should put Loctite in this. These bushings in here should be free because that takes up the space. Alright, so it's a few days later, and it seems like everything takes forever to do, and there is a complete hub unit for my Terra Jet. Let's get this out of there. Oh yeah, I always carry a trigger lock and a gun case in the back. It's empty, but you never know when a deal comes along. Alright, so that's the complete unit ready to reinstall into the Terra Jet. Like I said, the other spindle I just recently made some bushings, and I'll show you that on the next one. And I'm gonna have to drill the hole down the center of the bushing to 1/2 inch bolt. That's what that is. And I need to put some Healy coils in the other stub shaft and dig these out. These are lock bolts. When you get this bolt in there so far, to set a little bit of resistance in there, you don't want too much because it's standard steering, and tighten it down so this bolt cannot back out. I've seemed to lost my grease fitting, so I have to take this back to work, find a grease fitting for it, and then we're gonna go at her. Alright, so the next video of this Terra Jet, I'm gonna cut the floor out of it, and we're gonna brace it in the top crossways with my MIG welder's working now, so we're going to put like an X-shaped cross in there to keep it straight. Go ahead, cut the floor out of it. We're going to pull the chain and front gears out of it because it'll be easier to install this axle back in there with that out. So yeah, so we're slowly getting at her. This weekend we're heading for Belleville. Father's Day we'll be at Bridge Street United Church. I think it's United Church for a few hours. Show up for charity kind of thing. Lots to do. This one here, I can't afford to buy a clutch for it right now, but we're gonna go ahead and take the engine I got, and we're gonna remove the pulley. Having difficulties taking that off. I need to find heat shields for it. You've seen in the other videos. Just a big mess here. I have to clean this up tomorrow, get the trailer ready. Anyway guys, there'll be more Terra Jet. I have to get this going because I want to take it back to the trailer and go ripping around up there with Adam Postma. Should be some good videos, but I want it to be able to float and move. So, so it's like, do I finish this one, or do I work on this, or do I work on the monster trike, Black Widow trike I should say, or do I work on this Terra Jet? I'm just doing what I can afford at the moment, so bear with me. Right now we got 5 kids in the house every other week, so it gets busy around here, and it's hay season, so I'm not cutting my own. I'm gonna go, I'm having it done, and I'll just pick up the round bales. Maybe I'll make a video of that too. Anyway guys, stay tuned. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and please share these videos. It helps me out a lot. Catch you later. Bye.